What's going on there, YouTube? And welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from different comic book companies. Today, we're going to jump back over to DC Comics and continue our coverage over the DC Infinite Frontier initiative that is currently going on over at DC Comics. Now, we're going to pick up with Detective Comics. This is another Batman story going on currently in the DC Infinite Frontier line. We covered the other Batman story with him dealing with Scarecrow, but in this one right here, it seems like he may have a new villain to deal with, or it could be an old one. The question is though, will he have any help to help save Gotham? So, if you do like today's comic book video, please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. I do hope you enjoy today's video. So we begin today's video with us seeing Huntress, who we have not seen in a long time. We see her right now watching over some kind of convention or fundraiser for Gotham, where we see Mayor Nakano trying to win over some of the rich people in Gotham. You also have to remember that Bruce Wayne does not have all of his money thanks to Joker War. Either way though, this is supposed to be a nice night for Gotham. It is Mayor Nakano pushing his anti-vigilante plan. We then see some people calling themselves the Party Crashers. Honestly, the name sucks, except they are here right now crashing this event, trying to wreak havoc and steal stuff. This is also showing that there are some people who were inspired by the Joker thanks to the Joker War. This gives us the chance to be introduced to some new characters that are on Mayor Nakano's team. His personal assistant known as Hugh Vile and another character known as Neil. We don't get the chance to truly explore these characters just yet. Instead, what we do is actually get to see Batman in action. I mean, this is his book, so it would make sense to see him do something. Even though the event was more of Mayor Nakano's pushing his big agenda to remove vigilantes in Gotham. This is Batman showing that maybe you need vigilantes to help deal with certain things like this. Random people who believe in Joker ways. We see Batman being able to complete this mission, but of course, Mayor Nakano and his team did not like to hear about Batman being the one that had to handle the situation. Now, after that incident, we see Bruce Wayne explaining to us what he has been doing since he lost most of his fortunes in Wayne Manor. He had to build small versions of Batcaves across Gotham to help him, since he is no longer has access to the original one. We learn about him doing that in the main Batman comic video. Also, he has to build this himself with no help since he can't afford to get help. We then see Bruce Wayne at his new home, which is in Fort Gray. I want to say it's Fort Gray. And when he thinks he's about to have a quiet night, that is when he is confronted by his neighbor Lydia, who is this super energetic person who forces him to come out at night to some neighborhood party. We then get introduced to some other characters like the couple Sam and Sarah. Also, another character who kind of hates him but doesn't really hate Bruce Wayne is Deb Donovan. We will see her appear again here and there in this video. But we see that the dinner party begins to turn into a political chat, wondering who voted for Mayor Nakano and who did not, which of course made Bruce Wayne realize it is time for him to leave this joint and finally go back home. We jump over to the office of Mayor Nakano and we see him meeting up with some of his team members, the shy one and the more aggressive one, which is Neil. I want you to especially remember Neil, See how aggressive he is being and angry he is towards Mayor Nakano. Now some time has passed by and we pick up with Sarah, who we met earlier. She is the wife to Sam. They were the couple at the neighborhood party. Either way, we see her open the door to someone, except on the next page, we see that someone had possibly killed her. We learn this through her husband Sam finding her and freaking out, where Bruce Wayne also walks in to see what had happened. The last page, we see Neil walking in the sewers with blood all over his hands, indicating that he may have been the one that had killed Sarah. Now we learn how serious it is when it comes to the death of Sarah Worth. And the reason why I say that is because we see the police and Batman working hard to find her. Because in Gotham, if they go missing, they end up dead. Also, at Mayor Nakano's office, we see Sarah's father call up Mayor Nakano. This is where we learn the Worth family built half of Gotham up. So of course, they have some money. So you have Batman do what he does best, which is being a detective, able to figure out if the killer wanted to get away. Well, the best way to do that is to go in the sewers. So while Batman is in the sewers looking around, trying to find some form of clues, some city workers were able to see some blood traces on a manhole, which was close to the home of Sam and Sarah. So the city workers called the police, and the police sent in their team down in the sewers as well. As soon as they walked inside the sewers, we see that Batman must have found a dead body. Of course, that dead body belongs to Sarah Worth. Now for Batman, this raises so many more questions on why Sarah's body was placed here. Her body is hidden, but at the same time, it is not hidden, meaning that the police would have sooner or later find the body. Now, of course, Batman does not have enough time to do more detective work, mainly because the police have arrived. We have to remember that the police and Batman no longer work together, which of course leads into a police chase in the sewers. The police are trying to capture Batman because of the whole anti-vigilante thing. Now Batman is able to escape, of course, but with him being able to escape, the police had to report to the mayor, who thinks that Batman must have some kind of connection to the death of Sarah Worth. We then pick up at the funeral for Sarah Worth, and of course Bruce Wayne is there too to pay his respect, but to also see that maybe he can catch someone off guard, that person being the killer. Of course, Deb Donovan is there, who does not truly think great things about Bruce Wayne, and she is even questioning him being there now. We see Sarah's father getting upset about the death of his daughter, and you have her husband Sam leave the funeral, where Bruce Wayne goes to follow him, except when he is leaving, someone is watching over Bruce Wayne. After the funeral, a couple of things happen. The first is that Mayor Nakano has dinner with Sarah's father, both wondering who is at fault for the death of his daughter. At the same time, you have Bruce Wayne change into his Batman outfit to go confront Sam. Except when he goes to confront Sam, well, Sam is acting strange, where he pulls a gun out on Batman and says he has to kill Batman, where Batman is able to take him down before he does any harm. Getting back over to the office of Mayor Nakano, you had the story continue to point out that something is wrong with Neil, where again he gets upset with the mayor because the mayor did not like his speech for the press conference. Except that is when we see something is seriously wrong with Neil, as he falls to the ground screaming in pain, saying something is in his head and he wants it out. And the question is, what is inside his head? Now, a couple things do happen here. The first being that we see a random lady about to be attacked by some random thugs, where of course we see her be saved by Huntress, who we have not seen in a long time. So the question is, Why is she back in Gotham? But then we learn from Bruce Wayne that the city of Gotham is pouring concrete into the sewers over the spot where Sarah's body was found, which means someone is covering up something. Does Sarah's death have some kind of connection with the mayor or a police officer? Those are some big questions right there. This is where we are going to end today's video on one last note. That when Bruce Wayne finally gets home, again thinking that he is going to get some rest finally, that is when he sees Sarah, like Sarah is back from the dead, and she looks like a zombie. So the question is, how is that even possible? And this is where we are going to end today's video. So please hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read? Well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But I do hope you enjoy today's video.